you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The Iron Lady sings that makes it official. Welcome to the big show. We certainly appreciate you guys coming by. Thanks to our audience for tuning in. As always, we couldn't do it without you. For 16 years, nearly 2,000 shows, 2 to 3 to 4 episodes. We're doing 4 today. Episodes a week. We are the Netflix of podcasting. You can find just about anything you want to binge on. If you want to watch like 200 shows of romance novels, there's probably 300 or 400, but you can do that. If you want to hear a bunch of political history and argument over politics, you can do that as well. We just had a great Eddie Glaude Jr. on the show. You want to, I don't know, any book you want, fiction, novels, nonfiction, it's all on the Chris Voss Show. We appreciate all you folks that consume the show regardless. We get like a 96% consumption rate. So evidently you guys are just binging the whole damn show. But just so you know, there's segments if you want to cruise them as well over there. We always have the smartest people on the show who share with you their journeys, their mindsets, their things they learn through their cathartic moments and help you with the stories of life. And as we always say on the Chris Voss Show, stories are the owner's manual to life. Today we've got an amazing young man on the show. We're going to be talking to him about some of the work he does. He's also the author of a book that came out in 2014 called The Ultimate Guide to Internet Marketing for Dentists. All you need to know to effectively market your dental practice online. Chris Pistorius joins us on the show today. We're going to be talking to him about his insights and everything that went into the work that he does and how he can help you be better. He spent over 20 years refining marketing strategies that drive real growth in small businesses. He has a background with online giants like Google, AOL, Time Warner, and MapQuest, followed by a successful track in running one of the top-rated local marketing agencies in the country. He brings a wealth of knowledge on helping small businesses untangle the web. I'm still trying to do that, actually. And he's the author of the latest book there, aforementioned. Welcome to the show, Chris. How are you?
Hey, Chris. I'm good. How you doing?
There you go. I found your bio at the last second.
Yeah. I was going to say that's a pretty good guess if you're guessing.
Yeah, I just made it up, so I evidently got close. So there you go.
Yeah.
So welcome to the show. Give us your .coms. Where do you want people to find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, website is KickStart, like a motorcycle, KickStartDental.com.
There you go. Sounds like what my ex-wife does to me every morning. KickStart. No, I don't know what that means. There you go. Get out of bed. Get to work. Chris, give us a 30,000 overview of what you do over there.
Yeah, so I've been in local marketing for over 20 years. During you're announcing my bio, which ages me when you start throwing out companies like AOL and MapQuest. And remember when we used to, driving directions weren't built into our phones and our cars. You had to actually print out MapQuest maps.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's back when I was working there. So, yeah, I've been doing local marketing for a long time. And about 15 years ago, I decided to stop working for another company or another agency, and I created my own. And we've, in the beginning, we took on all kinds of clients, helping car dealerships or lawyers or attorneys. And then we niched down to just dentistry. And so that's what we're focused on today, is just helping dental practices get more new patients, the kind of patients that they want. But a lot of the things that I talk about marketing-wise, Chris, are really applicable to any type of local business. So
there you go.
That's what I do.
There you go. Marketing is important, especially in today's age where, you and I might have grown up. I know I did in the age where they used to dump a giant phone book on your porch every year or so. And man, if you weren't in the right place on those yellow pages, you didn't have the right size ad. There was always the famous lawyer that would always buy the back of it.
Yep.
You were out of business. Now you've got the internet and you can game it a little bit easier, but it's a complicated game.
Yeah, the problem is that there's about 5,000 places a local business can advertise online.
Wow.
Back in the days where you were talking about, it was, you do some direct mail, maybe you get your ad in the yellow pages and you're done. You don't have to be all that strategic. Now you've got to be a little bit more careful, a little bit more strategic, because everybody wants to take your money. But I can promise you that not everybody's going to get you results. So that's why I created this agency, was to try to fill that gap and help people, local businesses really understand where it is that they should be marketing themselves.
Yeah. And dentists need a lot of help because, they're good people, but it can be tough being a dentist, I hear, because people they aren't running in there to meet you.
Yeah, the thing about it is that there's more competition now than ever for dental practices. Really? Wow. There's tons of them. Yeah. Corporate dentistry is a thing now, so these big corporations are buying up individual dental practices. So your local practice that you think, Dr. XYZ is owned for 50 years might now be owned by a corporate dentist. You don't even know it. So there is mounting pressures on them. And you know what? Dentists just want to be dentists most of the time. And it used to be you open a dental practice and if you build it, they will come. That's not the case anymore. You've got to really know how to market a dental practice and how to get yourself out there. You're going to struggle.
Yeah. And of course, ranking on Google and ranking on search engines, ranking on local search engines, it's kind of, I think their game's kind of a little bit like attorneys, right? You want to try and get the local area because, it's a little hard to do dentistry for people across the nation unless you got offices there.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's all about local for these guys, and it's tougher than it used to be. I mean, everybody laughs about the yellow pages like we just did, but they were effective then, and it wasn't too strategic. Just as long as you got your name in the alphabet in the right spot and bought an ad here or there, you're in good shape.
Yeah, back then it was like you always named your company like AAA, AAA something,
AAA plumbing or something.
Yep. And then you're like, you get the yellow page, and you're like, damn it, they bought the whole page ad, and we bought the half page ad. There you go. You're stuck with it for a year.
Yeah. It's funny when you mention that the philosophy hasn't changed much. It's like whoever's on the top of Google gets all the calls, right? It's not alphabetical, of course, but it's always like that top person because people are lazy. They don't want to look all around. They just want to find that first result.
Yeah. You can be a serial killer, put all your dead bodies on page 2 of Google, and no one will find them.
Nobody would know.
Like even the FBI would be like, where are those dead bodies? Around here somewhere, but I don't see them on the first page of Google.
You got it.
So, yeah, I can't even remember the last time I clicked. I think the only time I click over the second page of Google is when I'm seeing our search results. I'm like, what's going on with our thing? That's about the only time I've ever clicked the second thing.
Yeah, and Google's getting a little crafty. Now it's just like one big long scrolling page. You don't actually physically go to a second page. So they're testing that. So sometimes you'll get those results.
And see, I don't know that because I never scrolled down.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yep. You got it.
Tells you what you need to know.
Yep.
And then constantly Google's changing the game too, right? Every time you think that you have your SEO dialed in or whatever, Google's, that's all gone. We're doing something different now.
Yeah, they call it an algorithm, and an algorithm's just a fancy word for rules. And there's really, they change their rules so they can constantly have fresh content come up because they don't want to keep showing the same stagnant results over and over and over. So they change their rules on how people rank, and it's the jobs of people like me and my company to stay ahead of that game and make sure that our clients are always showing up no matter what happens.
There you go. In dentistry, you also have a positive message because, when I get dentists are like, hey, you want to go to the dentist? I'm like, I don't know. Is it time for my prostate exam? It's a hard choice right there.
Yeah. Coin flip there.
But I mean, at least, I don't know, there's a joke there somewhere. But so tell us, what are some of the ways that you, give us a little bit more in depth without giving away the secret sauce of what are the ways you work with dentists and help them? And of course, maybe some of this is applicable to other sort of marketing.
Yeah, we customize everything because what we found early on is that what works in LA isn't going to work necessarily in New York or Louisiana or wherever. Demographics are different and people use the internet differently and they search different ways, right? Mm-hmm. So we have to do some research on the demographics of whatever market we're going into with the dentist. And then we customize a plan based on those demographics to make sure that we get our client's message in front of the people that's most valuable to them. So sometimes, almost always there's an SEO campaign involved to increase organic visibility on Google, Yahoo, Bing. Sometimes we do paid advertising opportunities like with Facebook or Google. We do some display advertising. We do retargeting, which is if you went to a dentist's website, for instance, we'd put a cookie on your browser. And then when you left their website, we're going to show you ads if you're like strolling through Facebook or something, just to kind of remind you to go back there and schedule an appointment. So we even do a little bit of direct mail. It's kind of cool, though. We use direct mail in a sense where if somebody goes to one of our clients' website, we'll send them a postcard in the mail because we have some technology that will identify the name and the physical address of the person that visited your website. A little scary, but we can send them a postcard and follow up with them. So there's a lot of different things that we can do. It's just really whatever is going to make the most sense for our clients' goals.
Plus making sure people come back, reminding them of, hey, we've been seeing those bags of candies you've been eating on Facebook at Halloween. And you're probably due for at least, I don't know, root canal or two.
Yeah, we call those reactivation campaigns, and a lot of dentists overlook that because they're all about, all right, get me more new patients. That's great, and that's certainly part of what we do, but we've got to make sure we lock the back door too so that we can keep those patients going back to you. And so if somebody hasn't been in 6 or 7 months, we're going to send them an email, text message, phone call, whatever it may be, try to get them back scheduled in.
Definitely. Dentists and dentists have, it's a thing where people, they're like, hey, do I want to go in the dentist or not? Do I want to deal with this? And all that good stuff. So being able to determine, how to get people back in, how to get people involved is really important, I should say. What do you find most dentists, what are some mistakes that dentists are making right now that you see that maybe some dumb things that they, dumb things. I'm shaming dentists right now. Maybe I don't mean to do that. Sorry, dentists. I just lost the 5 dentists that listen to the show. What do you think dentists are doing that they could do better with their marketing, or maybe some mistakes they're making?
I think the biggest mistake they make is by doing nothing. I call it kind of ostrich marketing, where things get a little overwhelming. You're not sure what to do. Your new patients are going down. They've always been great. There's more competition, and instead of being aggressive and taking more action, they kind of just put their head in the sand and hope for the best. And that's the biggest mistake. It's just, you got to figure it out. You got to be proactive. And, I know dentists want to be dentists, and I totally get that, but you're also a business owner, and you have employees relying on you, and, you've got to be responsible for them, and you've got to do everything you can to make sure that your business is successful.
Yeah. It's you, and a lot of people are like that. When you're an entrepreneur, you want to do what you're skilled at, or what you don't want to be. You can hire business managers for stuff. I know a lot of doctors do that. They hire business managers, and you want accountants. There's a certain point of scale of your business where you can't do everything anymore. And since you're a dentist, you got to do the dental work. There were times when I was a CEO, and I'm like, can somebody do the CEO job? And I don't want to go goof off on weekends. But you've got to do that main thing of the book. And when you've got a full stack of clients that are coming in, you got a full schedule every day. You don't have time to be like, hey, how's that marketing thing going? Are we? Which buttons do I press on the keyboard for Google? Yeah. So that makes a difference. What's the dangers? This is one of the things I've always seen. I don't know if people are still doing it, but it used to be in the early days of social media. People would be like, I don't need an expert for social media. I've got my 12-year-old who's going to do it, and they know how to post on Instagram, so I'm sure everything will be fine. What's the difference between, having somebody in-house do it towards having an agency like yourself?
Yeah, it's, I get asked that a lot, actually, about posting organically on Instagram, Facebook, and what people don't realize is that these social networks have really made it a pay-to-play game. So let's say, Chris, you had 1,000 followers on your Facebook page, right? And let's say you put out a piece of content saying, hey, I had Chris Pistorius on the show today. Here it is. Only about, 30 or 40% of your followers are ever going to see that notification. Yeah. Because the algorithm is built to only send it out to limited people. And what they want you to do is what they call boost the post. So they want you to pay some money to get it out to more of your followers, and then people also who don't follow you. It's really, there's complexities like that, the technical aspect of understanding how social works. But then there's also the content. What should your content say? Should you be, promoting a $29 cleaning special every time you post on Facebook? No. Facebook is really more of a, a branding play, meaning that, we can target people based on demographics like age, income, things like that. That doesn't mean they're looking for a dentist. So you can't just, it's like a relationship, right? You meet a girl and you go on a date. The first words out of your mouth isn't, do you want to get married? The first thing is to kind of, So the first thing is really to get to know them, build a relationship, and then you get to that point. That's the key. That's the key to marketing on Facebook is introduce yourself first. Don't just start selling all the time, right? Mm-hmm. Put out content that people really want to hear. And then, once you've built up that relationship, then you can start talking about, hey, why do you need to come to my office?
There you go. It's all about relationships, really, huh?
Yep. Social is. Now, Google ads are completely different. Google ads, you're buying keywords and you're targeting people who are kind of have their credit card in their hand and they're ready to buy because they're typing in how much are dental implants or I need a root canal. These people are ready to buy. So you can sell to those people. It's a completely different audience.
Yeah. If you're not doing that, I mean, you're just screwed. I mean, everything is relationship building and brand building too, as well, right? I mean, usually if I see enough ads or if I see enough like earned media stuff, one thing that's really big now is if you're a pro in anything, you're on TikTok talking about your stuff. You kind of not really the freemium model, but you're on there basically advertising your brand and your professionality. And how will you know what you know, and sometimes it's the personality too, where you're like, I don't know, like this person seems trustable, and I'm going to let them stick things in my mouth and hurt me in ways that I don't want to be hurt, that sort of thing. And you've got to build that, but you also people want someone that knows what they're doing. You don't want the guy who's like, hey, I just got out of dentist school last week. Want to have some fun? Yeah. And you're like, I don't know about that. I'd rather have somebody who's good at what they're doing. And what are some other failures that you see people doing, or dentists doing, or anyone in marketing, really?
I've seen a lot of the do-it-yourselfers, which I respect. I do, but I've seen it almost put people out of business. They're trying to do, for instance, Google ads on their own. And there are so many complexities in Google ads. I mean, I don't even touch them anymore. I've got a complete department that's all they do. Mm-hmm. But you could literally spend 10 grand in 1 month and not get one patient out of it if you don't really know what you're doing. Between that and doing Groupon deals, those are the two biggies. Is you can spend a ton of money. Groupon, I have seen put businesses out of business. They just don't think about what they have to give to Groupon, and then they're giving their product away at half off or whatever, and they get all this fluctuation of business, but they're losing money on every transaction, and all of a sudden they're like, I don't have any money left, right? So really got to think through some of these things and make sure you have a strategy and a plan before you just start doing. I respect the doing and taking action, but you got to be really careful.
Definitely. I mean, you can blow a lot of money. There's a lot of fraud too in the business.
There is.
And one of the issues that I keep having, who's the ad that I keep seeing? But one of the problems that there's, we've had people come on and talk about ad fraud in basically the business. Sometimes it's people that are your competitors running up your bills by targeting your smacking your links and getting you charged. Yep. And then the other thing is like if I'll buy something and there's something I can't remember that's an ad, but I must have bought it like a month ago. Oh no, hold on, I know what it is. I'm looking right at it. It's the TechSmiths ad for Snagit and Camtasia. Oh yeah, one of the things for editing. And I see that ad all the time. I've been buying Camtasia products.
Yeah, me too.
We've been reviewing them, getting them. I think I had to buy the last 2 sets, but we got them free for the first 10 years because we review products. And so I'm very familiar with it. I'm looking at it right now, about to use it. And I see that ad like all the time, every day on Facebook because I'm using the product. But I'm not going to buy it because I already have it. And so that's one of the fraud things in advertising is, I'll buy something on Amazon and then for the next week it's trying to sell me something that I just bought. And I'm like, whoever is making that ad is wasting their money. I've already closed. You need to go chase somebody who's new. Yeah,
there's a lot of waste. There's a lot of waste and fraud and everything that you just talked about. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. What else have we covered that you'd like people to know about working with your agency and how you do that? Do people work with a person that's assigned to them? Do they work with you personally? How does that work out?
Yeah, believe it or not, all the first initial calls come through me. I like to interview potential new clients, make sure they're a good fit for us because it's important for that, and make sure their expectations are, being met. But, I think, even if you're listening to this and you're not a dentist, for your listeners, go to my website and do a free strategy session with me. I won't charge you anything. And if you own an auto repair shop, for instance, I'll give you some tips and tricks for free to help you out. So feel free to go to KickStartDental.com and do that free strategy session. And that'll be with me personally.
There you go. I'll do that for my OnlyFans. See if you can help me get some more customers.
Hey, that'd be an interesting project to work on.
If you're in my audience and you're Googling to see if I have an OnlyFans, you're a sick person. That's just, you don't want to see that with me. Trust me. But it is .com onlyfans./ You don't want to see this. You don't even want to pay to see that. I think that's the URL. I don't know. That's the best URL joke I can make today. Clearly, when people onboard with you, what sort of qualifications do they need? Do they need a minimum spend on a monthly or yearly basis? Net worth?
Yeah.
What sort of clients fit you? Clearly, if I'm running dentistry out of an alley, probably wouldn't fit the budget.
Yeah, no,
I am in Florida. So.
Hey, that's not a bad play. It's we look for people that are growth minded. So if you want to grow your practice and you're dedicated to it, that's our type of client. I don't want to have to talk anybody into why they need to advertise or market. If I have to do that, then they're probably not a great fit for us. And yeah, marketing does cost a little money, but if it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So you got to be committed to it for a little while. I think that if people understand that, then they're probably a good fit for us.
Definitely. It makes a difference. Sounds like they're pinging your phone already.
I know. I apologize. I thought I had everything shut off, but now it's ringing through my computer. I don't even know how to shut that off.
I have some of that happen with my watch. I bought one of those Android watches.
Yeah.
And I put on Do Not Disturb, but it'll still ring.
Yeah, I've got everything. I got my watch turned off, my phone's off, but my computer's now. I apologize. I don't know.
No, it's fine. Totally. I just think it's kind of funny. But yeah, it's like I actually have to put Do Not Disturb on the watch and then turn off the volume.
Oh.
And I'm like, why shouldn't the Do Not Disturb turn on the
Yeah, that should do it all, right? Yeah. I know, man. I'm supposed to be this tech savvy marketing guy, and I can't figure out how to mute my notifications.
And then you delve into LinkedIn advertising, Facebook advertising, Google advertising, and stuff like that. Is LinkedIn a pretty good place for these days for advertising?
It is in specific applications. So, like for instance, with us, sometimes there's dentists that take a certain type of insurance, and we can actually target companies that offer that type of insurance and target the people that work for them through LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of interesting. There's some creative ways to use LinkedIn, but yeah, we can. LinkedIn's not cheap though. That's the problem, is that their ads are pretty expensive. Google's pretty expensive. Facebook, Instagram, not so expensive, but like I said before, it's just a different audience. Yeah. But yeah, there's some creative ways to make that work.
Yeah, our newsletter over there keeps growing like a weed. Kind of maintain the thing, but we put that out, and the great thing about the newsletter, it goes out to everyone's email, and you don't have to pay anything to build the newsletter.
Nice.
It's just part of your deal. You can pay to advertise it more if you want, if it's on your page, not your personal. We found out that way, but it goes directly out to everyone's email that's on your list. And I think we're almost 10,000 people now on the Chris Voss list on LinkedIn. So when we feature the posts we do here, it goes right to their email. Now whether or not they read it or not is the thing, but evidently they are, because we get the replies. But yeah,
something's working.
There's all sorts of different ways to do that, and LinkedIn is such a great place. I mean, so much money over there.
Yeah,
it's so professional. It's not like when you go on Twitter and you feel like you're in a bar and there's just bar fights everywhere.
Yeah, we don't even mess with Twitter anymore. It's worthless for us.
Yeah, I don't know. Even back when it was Twitter, it was the advertising.
Oh no, you got to call it X now.
Yeah, I refuse. I refuse to give that up. I'm still gonna call it Twitter. I'm pretty much.
I know, man. I thought Twitter was a good name.
It really is. Ever since it's become X, I can never find it on my phone because I'm looking for the bird, And then I'm like, the other day I got a bill from X for their monthly fee or whatever, and I almost reported it as I'm like, I think someone's hacked my account. Who is X? That's how bad the branding is. And then I was about to report it to my credit card agency, and I'm like, oh wait, I know who that is.
Yeah.
That's that idiot who has a small dick energy. Oh, Elon Musk. Sorry, I pronounced small dick energy. There you go. Now, there was something else I saw on your website I wanted to touch on. You guys also build websites for people, and I imagine that's a big deal for newer dentists or dentists that have some old, I don't know, some Microsoft 2000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's websites are the nest. You have to have a good website, and the reason is because the website's kind of your hub for all of your marketing activity. So if you go out there and you buy a billboard, for instance, right, people are going to at some point go through your website. They're going to do a Google search because they saw a billboard. They're going to find your website, and your website needs to be able to tell people just enough to get them to want to raise their hand and take the next step, which is a phone call or fill out a form or something like that. So it's important. It's one thing that's, I think, is overthought quite a bit. I think in a website's case, done is better than anything. You're always going to be working on a website. It's like buying a house. You're always tweaking it, making it a little bit better. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be a good functional website that gets the job done. Now, the back end of the website is really more important because that's what Google sees, the coding and all that stuff, and that determines on whether they're going to rank you on the Google search or not. So you've got to look at it from the decorative front perspective and then the back of it. And we do see a lot of dental practices that come to us with a website from the 90s. And we gotta fix this first, guys, because this is your brand, your image, and everybody's going to funnel through it. So It is a big deal. It's overthought. Keep it simple, keep it straightforward, and you'll be in a pretty good position.
Yeah. I mean, you see people that there's a lot of websites that the functionality doesn't work because has anyone checked this? Like you'll click on the Facebook or the LinkedIn link or something, and it goes to whatever, and they got AOL email addresses.
Yep. Yeah, I had to fire a client once because of the website. They wanted like a little bird to fly across the screen or some shit, and I'm like, no, that's not going to help.
What does that have to do with teeth?
Yeah, and I'm like, this isn't a good fit for us. So you're thinking about this in the wrong manner, and and that's okay. I mean, we're just not, it's not about the bird flying across the website for us. It's about getting a patient in the seat.
Hey, what would be good is when you go to the website, there's a sound of a drill, and then a bloody tooth screams and pops across the screen instead of the bird. I mean, that
would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't think
I should build a site like that just as a joke.
Yeah, dental parody. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's not going to get any new clients, though.
No, it won't.
Reminding people of the sound of that drill. There you go. I mean, listen, I think, I don't know, I don't have a divorce joke for the sound of the drill, but you can fill it in, folks. Now, you have something on your website you call Dental Flow. Tell us about that.
Yeah. For us, we're not a big agency, and we never will be. We're more of a boutique. There's 20 of us that work here. So we're big enough to get stuff done, but we're also small enough to make sure that our clients are getting results. Mm-hmm. So part of that is we actually take the time to listen to every call that comes in from our campaigns to a dental practice. And we're listening to make sure that the leads that are coming in are actual real leads and not just, BS. So we look at all leads that come in. We listen to every call. We look at if they filled out a form. We screen that first. If they do a text message, we look at that. That enables us to show our clients exactly what they're getting out of their marketing campaign. It's not just BS of, you got, 5,000 clicks or impressions or, 400 people called your office. That's great, but 399 of them were all spam, right? So we really take the clutter out of it and make sure our clients know what they're getting. But on the other side, Chris, it lets us understand what's working and what's not, because we can see the quality of leads coming from Google ads versus Facebook ads versus, X ads, whatever it may be. So we really take the time, and that's what that dental flow process is all about. It's just taking the time to really track this stuff and understand where things are coming from.
Yeah, you can get a lot of leads. I mean, we've got websites that get a lot of leads, but they're like spam leads from like people from Pakistan and India.
Exactly. Yeah. And other agencies, they take advantage of this. That's all they like. What do you mean? You got 5,000 leads this month. No, they didn't. They got 5,000 clicks to their website. That doesn't that doesn't pay the mortgage. So that's really what we're concerned about.
Yeah, how much it converts and it turns into actual business, because
that's right.
If you're spending all that money and the business isn't converting, you're not going to have any money after a while.
Nope.
That's going to go right out.
It's like when a business looks at, just annual sales or sales numbers. Sales numbers are great, but what's your profit margin? Because that's what's going to make you successful. It's not the top line, it's that bottom line revenue.
We had a guy on the show who was an inspiration to blue collar people, but he started his first blue collar business. So he was low bidding jobs so that he could get them. And he ended up, getting all this business and filling out crews, but he forgot to cover for taxes and business expenses. And turns out by the time he woke up to it, he's $500,000 in debt.
Exactly.
And so you can have a lot of business going on, but you may not have a lot of profit going on. And he wasn't paying attention to the bottom line. He just kind of thought the activity was, the difference.
Yep.
And sometimes, activity isn't always great. So
that's true. That's it's the whole thing about Groupon I was talking about. They're just giving stuff away and not really understanding the profit levels. Yep.
Definitely. Anything more we need to cover and tease out before we go?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
Cool. There you go. Thank you very much for coming to the show. We really appreciate it. Give us your .com so people can find you on the interwebs.
Yeah, KickStartDental.com. And again, if you're not a dentist, no problem. Just hit me up and I'd be more than happy to give you some free advice.
There you go. I'm going to call you about my OnlyFans.
Do it.
There you go. No one wants to see that. Thanks to Minus for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss, one of the TikTokity, all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe, or else. We'll see you next time. Or else.